Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Armada Victory Class Star Destroyer Expansion Pack. Now the Victory Class was first seen in the novel Han Solo's Revenge, released on October 12, 1979. And after that it became a huge fan favorite, appearing in games, models, etc, etc. Now these popped up in the last years of the Clone Wars and they were a great ship for the time. Great weapons, shields, armor, all that stuff. And what made them great was they were perfect for atmospheric flight as well. So they could drop troops and this and that, fire. Usually the Imperials bombard from space. This could go right up to the target, which made it perfect. Now what made it lack is its engines. They were not good for ship-to-ship combat and stuff like that. So they had to be replaced. Now even though they were replaced by the Imperial Star Destroyer, they did not stop using them. Basically they put them for planetary defense, stuff like that. Until years later in the expanded universe when Thrawn needed some great battleships and decided to get some of these and retrofit them so that way he could use them in his Armada. Now this ship does have a lot to talk about and I gotta leave the history for now to get to the model and the expansion itself. So perhaps one day I will revisit the ship's lore, but for right now let's move on. With this expansion pack you get the Victory Class Star Destroyer, which is very nice, beautiful model, some cards, tokens, dials, all that fun stuff. Now, if you own the Armada core set, you will already have one of these. But when you buy it separate, you do get some extra different cards and stuff like that, so it is worth it. So finally, before we begin, for the size of this vessel, it's a little over 5.5 inches, which is amazing. So we do have a lot to cover. We're going to look at the tokens, the dials, cards, put on a stand, check out the mold, look at the paint, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now it's time for my favorite segment, the dial and token roll call. 1 speed dial, 3 command dials, 3 defense tokens, 4 command tokens, and finally 3 ship ID tokens. So that does it for all the dials and tokens, so now let's take a look at the cards. Alright, so we'll start off with the upgrade cards. Like always, I'll read the name of the ship, and if you would like to pause the video and read the paragraph below, by all means, go right ahead. So let's get started. First up, Admiral Malti. Director Izzard, Intel Officer, Defense Liaison, Veteran Captain, Gunnery Team, Flight Controllers, Expanded Hangar Bays, Ion Cannon Batteries, Overload Pulse, XX-9 Turbo Lasers, Ship Title Corruptor, and finally, Warlord. So that does it for the upgrade cards. So now let's take a look at the 2 ship cards. Alright, up first we have the Victory 1 Class Star Destroyer. 8 hull, blue anti-squadron die, 3 command, 3 squadron, 4 engineering. For the arcs, we're looking at mostly black and red. Cost of 73 points, has some upgrades down here. I know a lot of people don't like the Victory 1, but to each his own. Pretty cool picture though. For the second card, we have the Victory 2 Class Star Destroyer. Again, 8 hull, blue anti-squadron die, 3 command, 3 squadron, 4 engineering. Now for our arcs, we have red and blue. So that's pretty good because I know black is close range. So with the red and blue, you know, you can have a little more fun. Costs 85 points now. And again, you get some nice upgrade slots. And I gotta say, I'm really digging the artwork on these cards. Pretty cool. So that does it for all the cards. So now let's take a quick look at the stand. Alright, when it comes to the stand, I've been going over these for a while now. So you take your base, you could pick the Victory 1 or the Victory 2. Let's go with the Victory 1. Put it on like so. Take your pylon, lock it into place, then you grab your ship, peg it on like so, and you're good to go. Alright, finally we could take a look at this beautiful model. I have to say this is one of my favorites in the whole line. Very similar to what we know, but a little different. Now you can see it's basically a normal Star Destroyer with a couple added on sections. But like always, I'll go over the main sections of the vessel, and then we'll get nice and close to see what this ship has to offer. So, like I mentioned, you can see it's a wedge shape. We have our turbo laser batteries on the sides. This little stick here is the observation section. This piece right here is the bridge. See how it protrudes? We have comms antenna, shield generators. Right here should be targeting sensors. So pretty awesome. I love the superstructure section right here. Pretty cool. Now for the underneath, we have our reactor, landing bay, secondary landing bay. And throughout all here, we have, ion cannons, turbo lasers, and of course, tractor beams. Now you can notice that it does have these large sections coming out the sides. And I'm digging it. I like it a lot. I think it really adds to the ship. Gives it a little character. And then we have the back with a very detailed aft section with these engines. Fantastic stuff. So that basically covers all the main sections of the ship. So now, let's get zoomed in. Alright, let's begin looking at the bottom of the vessel. And just tons of paneling, little raised sections. This is actually a very beautiful ship. There we can see the hangar bays. Or landing bays, just fantastic stuff. Really, it is a beautiful vessel. And then we have our connector port for the stand, our reactor. And just tons of paneling and detailing. Awesome stuff. I really do love the designs on here. Now, I forgot to mention before, these sections here actually have a name. They're the atmosphere maneuver surfaces, which lets this bad boy get nice up and close to their enemies on the surface of a planet and just bombard them. Pretty sick. And I love these designs too next to the engines. And speaking of the engines, they are a little different than what we're used to. You can see it has these little rectangles that protrude outward. Very unique, very different. But you could tell all this beautiful detail in here. I love it. It's fantastic stuff. It really is. And I don't know, I just love the detail. Like, for the amount of money you're paying for some of these, I think it's worth it. Especially as a little collector piece. Beautiful. Now, beginning to look up at the superstructure, we have our turbo laser batteries. And look at all that stuff. That is magnificent. And we'll get a nice spin here, looking at the front. Amazing stuff. And then we have our other turbo lasers right here. Just the amount of detail, even on the side here. Fantastic. And they even detailed underneath the command section. You can see like a little hose and doodads in there. And that's the same for both sides. Just amazing. Now for the command section, we have our bridge, our observation piece here. And you can see all the detailing on here. That is nice. Now, it's detailed on the sides, the back, the neck is done pretty good. This right here should be the targeting sensors. And then look at the detail on the shield generators. That is beautiful. Then we have our comms array right here, and that is looking fine. Just a beautiful ship. It really is. There's even detail in the observation section. Can't get over this. Now for the main section itself, or I should say the plating, it is beautifully done. Raised sections, little recesses, paneling. Amazing. And I'm sorry I'm taking a little longer. It's just a lot to go over. And into the front of the ship. And before I move on, I just wanted to get this little trench section. And look at all the detail there. Here we have a little port here. So that's pretty cool. Coming on down. Just tons of little details. Another port right in front of us. And even the tip is a little open. That is awesome. Really neat stuff here. The attention to detail by Fantasy Flight Games is really on point. And that does it for the mold. I'm pretty sure I went over every nook and cranny. So now, let's take a look at the paint. Alright, when it comes to the paint of the Victory, like all Imperial ships for Armada, there's not a lot going on in the paint department. But it is done perfectly. The main color is a nice light gray. Battleship gray, if you will, and it covers the whole ship. And it is beautiful. I really think they did a nice choice of colors there. Now, on top of that, we have dark gray on certain panels. It's spread throughout the whole ship, but beautifully done. As you can see, no spills, nothing. Now the only other color we have on here is blue for the engines, and it is a beautiful blue. I love when they fill in the engines like that. Now the final color, you guessed it, black wash. Filling in all the nooks and crannies and just making this come to life. From the turbo lasers to the superstructure to the bridge area. It is magnificent. And I get a kick out of opening and looking at all these models because I know I'm in for a treat. Just a beautiful paint job. Probably perfect, I would go as far as to say. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So now let's put this bad boy back on the stand and compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. Alright, for a quick size comparison with the Armada Victory Class Star Destroyer, I have it next to Thrawn's Chimera Imperial Star Destroyer. Beautiful ship, it's just a repaint of one we already got, but awesome nonetheless. And then finally on the right hand side we have the Hot Wheels Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Starfighter. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Armada Victory Class Star Destroyer Expansion Pack. Again, this was first seen in the novel Han Solo's Revenge, and for its size, it's a little over 5.5 inches. So why do I like this expansion? Well, first of all, like always, you get your dials and tokens to add to your core set collection. Then we have 14 upgrade cards, which are amazing. You can use them to modify your ship and make it how you want it to be. Now, you also get that nice stand, and finally, the jewel of the whole set, especially for me, the ship itself. Beautifully molded, excellently painted. This model is perfect. No defects, no paint issues. I know some people might have a defect in theirs, but on mine, it's perfect. I love it. I love looking at it. Right now I have it on a flight pose stand, and the paint and mold work together to make something truly amazing. Everything that should be highlighted is, and things that don't really need to be highlighted aren't. A lot of companies use too much paint and it kills their model. And Fantasy Flight Games just knocks each one of these out of the park. And I can't wait to see what else they come out with in the future. Now, if you're looking to buy this bad boy, I would suggest going to Barnes & Noble and then go to the internet, Amazon, eBay, miniaturemarket.com, fantasyflightgames.com. A lot of people out there right now are saying that Armada is dead or Armada is drying up, which it is drying up. I noticed in a lot of stores around my area, they are disappearing big time. And apparently Fantasy Flight Games says something big is in the works. And what that is, I don't know. I, for one, hope that we're getting maybe new factions, but it's up in the air and nobody knows. If you want up-to-date news on that, I do subscribe to this dude. He is awesome. He knows how to play these games and everything. From X-Wing to Legion to Imperial Assault, all that stuff. His name is Krabok, and I'll put a link to his channel in my description below. And I don't know him. I never really had a conversation with him. But he seems like a really awesome dude. And, you know, Star Wars right now, it's like a fractured fandom. So it's really cool to, you know, try and help everybody out. Now, his channel's way bigger than mine. I'm an ant compared to him. But, you know, if you're into this stuff like I am, go check him out. Because he knows everything about these games and how to play them and stuff like that. So, anywho, I recommend this ship for anybody who's a fan of the Empire, who likes to play the Empire faction in Armada, or vessels in general. This is a great collector's piece. So that's everything I have to say today about this beautiful ship. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button. If you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.